For the first time in 103 years, Michigan versus Ohio State will not take place in the year of 2020. Despite what you think about Michigan getting blown out, whether you think that they had no chance, which frankly they didn't, this is a pretty sad day because it puts an end to one of the great American sports traditions that you can count on the Michigan-Ohio State game happening every single year. It's a great tradition in my family where I grew up in Ohio. It's a great tradition all around the Midwest. And frankly, with so many transplants around the United States, I think it's a great tradition in many parts of the country. It's a game that everybody looks forward to every year, despite the rankings, despite the one-sidedness. It's certainly something that I was hoping that would get played, even though I knew Michigan had no chance, because it's just tradition. And when you start canceling games like this, who the heck knows? A couple years down the road, maybe they start switching the schedules around, don't have it at the end of the year anymore. Not saying that's going to happen, but break tradition, a lot of other things could be breaking too. So the last time this game was canceled, 1913 through 1917, the game wasn't played, resumed in 1918. So quick math, I think it's 102 games, right? 18 through 2017 would be 100 straight played. 2018 then 2020, or 2018 to 2019, that'd be 102 straight games they have played in this rivalry with no cancellation, no interruption, not World War II, not any other event that happened in the world. I mean, Hank, frankly, not even something like John F. Kennedy's assassination, which happened November 1963. They played the game a couple weeks after that. So Michigan-Ohio State game is canceled. Breaking news here on the Michigan Football Report. We tossed on the Michigan sports coat and the polo, got here in front of the camera just to give you guys our thoughts. So here's what we know. Michigan got corona tests last week, and then they kind of started not practicing. They paused all team activities. A day or so later, canceled the Michigan-Maryland game. And then there was a pretty widespread thought that the game against Ohio State was not going to happen because you cancel one game, Big Ten protocols, 21-day sit-out, you got to cancel two games. But Ohio State played last week after canceling a game in Illinois. They had all kinds of players out. They didn't say whether they were injured, whether it was corona, never know. Head coach Ryan Day was out for them. But they got back in the field against Michigan State this past weekend. Michigan gets back into the facility on Monday, actually practice with helmets only, going through warm-ups, going through, walkthroughs, et cetera, et cetera. Not a full practice, but getting back in the field. That's a good sign because if they had no chance of playing, if there was this mass contract tracing, then you wouldn't have the ability to get out there on helmet. So then Tuesday comes. Jim Harbaugh is supposed to talk to the media Tuesday afternoon. Players are supposed to talk to the media Tuesday afternoon via Zoom. Michigan obviously expects that they're going to get coaches and players asked about Jim Harbaugh's future, et cetera, et cetera. So media availability was canceled. I think some people took that as Jim Harbaugh was ducking the media. I took it as if they're canceling media availability, this is bad for the game. So we actually got prepped for this show about an hour ago to come on, jump here and record something. The news dropped. We jumped on. Rumors are coming out that Michigan has as high as 30 or 40 positive cases between staff and players. So clearly, if that comes out to be true, I think there's two things at play here. One, Michigan definitely had, I think, some lapse when it comes to the safeness and the testing and the social distancing and what we told you last week about players, visiting family and people having these small Thanksgiving get-togethers with multiple family, extended family, et cetera, et cetera. If, and that seemingly likely that happened, I don't think that we're wrong when saying that, then I think that's the source of this outbreak. Now, luckily, no one is, as far as we know, sick. No one's hospitalized. I'm not sure if anyone's even sick. But the protocols the Big Ten put in place, if you've got even 5, 6, 7, 8 guys, you're probably going to cancel a game. If they've got 20, 30, even 40 as been discussed, then I think that makes this game impossible to play. Good sign they got in the field yesterday. And maybe it was just a gesture to not have the Kirk Herbstreits of the world call them out further for trying to duck Ohio State, which I don't think is happening here. But I don't think that the players and the staff and everybody surrounding the program was being as cautious once it was clear that the season was really nothing left to play for the Michigan football season. So that is the word here. Want to ask you guys to subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed yet. Michigan Football Report on YouTube, the fastest growing, most watched Michigan football channel on the internet, youtube.com/Michigan TV. We blew past 11,000 subscribers over the weekend, getting close to, it's Tuesday afternoon. We're halfway to 12,000 subscribers. So go ahead and subscribe if you haven't. If you haven't seen this show before, we break down all of the Michigan Michigan football news, rumors, and recruiting. All you need to stay up to date with the Michigan football team during the season, off season, all year round. We're here while the blog boys are taking their vacations to Lake Michigan. YouTube.com/Michigan TV. So, Michigan-Ohio State's canceled. It's Tuesday, so Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So 4 days, am I saying that right? I guess maybe 4 days to the Michigan-Ohio till Saturday. What about Ohio State? Okay, they've only played 5 games so far. So unless the Big Ten changes a rule, Ohio State's got to play a game this weekend or they can't be eligible for the Big Ten championship game. And you might get some whispers from SEC country that Texas A&M should be able to get into the game, or the Clemson Notre Dame loser should definitely get in the game, even if it's Clemson with 2 losses because they played such a harder schedule. They played a great Notre Dame team, all this different stuff. If Ohio State can't get 7 games, which means they play this week and then next week in the Big Ten, or the Big Ten championship game or another game, then I think there's going to be some loud cries from the pundits and the scribes around the internet and on TV tonight. College football playoff show, 6 p.m. Eastern here on Chat Sports, or 7 p.m. Eastern here on Chat Sports. I think that's a real concern for Ohio State. So I think we may see in the next 24 hours or so the Big Ten do something to make an Ohio State football game up against maybe Maryland, maybe somebody else, happen this Saturday so the Buckeyes get eligibility to play in the Big Ten title game, or the Big Ten athletic directors just have to decide to change the rules a week before the Big Ten championship game. And some of you guys might get upset about that. I don't know. I mean, I think in the spirit of putting the best teams in the championship game, you really can't with a straight face say Ohio State does not deserve to be in there. So what does this mean for Jim Harbaugh, right? Actually, just make sure you toss it up on screen. Not that one, Sam. Toss my Twitter account in there. You can follow Chat Wolverines, but at James Yoder. Want to make sure we got the Twitter plug if you guys hadn't. I tweeted this out before recording, at James Yoder on Twitter. Tell me you're an MFer. If you're an MFer, I'll follow you back. I'll retweet you if you say, hey, James, watch the show. I'm an MFer. I've gotten like 500 people to do that here in the past few weeks. But what does it say about the future of Jim Harbaugh? Number one, why are we negotiating a contract extension with a coach of your football team the week of Ohio State? Why is Jim Harbaugh and Ward Manuel letting out sources and their mouthpieces like John U. Bacon to leak things out there to the media to drum up some sort of, I don't know, public outcry to get Jim Harbaugh signed, to get Jim Harbaugh not signed, to make people think that he's got a contract from an NFL team and an offer coming there, to think that the administration is doing everything they can to keep him or get rid of him? I don't know. But you've had years. In all reality, after you broke off a 10-game win streak in 2018, you should have signed Harbaugh to a contract extension before the Ohio State game in 2018, because then you come out of that 62-39 loss and you kind of get egg in your face. Oh, we can't extend Harbaugh now. After 4 seasons, though, Harbaugh deserved an extension, frankly. And last year, you could say you lost a game or two that you didn't, that you should have lost. But outside of, I don't know, the Penn State game, is there a game you really think Michigan should have won last year? They were blown out against Wisconsin, a great Ohio State team, and they played Alabama in a bowl game. And frankly, it was a 1-score game in the fourth quarter. So I don't think the luster came off Harbaugh after Wisconsin, but I still think you could have extended him in February or January, and you might have had a little outcry for 0-5 versus Ohio State, but that would have died off after a week or two. So you put yourself in this position where you've coming up, Jim Harbaugh now is a lame duck coach. If you're not playing this week, I don't think they're going to play this game in championship week. I think if they got as many cases to cancel this game, that means the Michigan-Ohio State game is canceled, and I think the next game is canceled. So unless a 2-4 Michigan team accepts a bowl bid, which maybe they have, we could be in a situation where Jim Harbaugh has coached his last game as Michigan's football coach, or he is now a lame duck coach unless some sort of contract extension, which I think would be in very poor taste to happen the day or two after you cancel the Michigan-Ohio State game. Unless that happens, then Jim Harbaugh is either out the door or he's a lame duck coach who's going to have to sign some sort of extension before National Signing Day, the early National Signing Day, which takes place 1 week from tomorrow. So, want to make sure you guys subscribe one more time, youtube.com/Michigan TV, the fastest growing, most watched Michigan football channel on YouTube. Number one, if you call us a podcast, we beat all the blog boys and their little 60, 70-minute podcast episodes. They're listened to by 400 people. We've got tens and thousands, over 500,000 watchers in the month of November. Michigan-Ohio State canceled. I think this could signal the end of the 2020 Michigan football season, and frankly, could be the end of the Jim Harbaugh era. So Michigan-Ohio State game canceled, and frankly, that's a bummer. A 102-year tradition of playing that game from 1918 through 2019 is over. Thanks so much for watching today. If you enjoyed the show, this one or any of our episodes, and you haven't yet subscribed, hit this button right here. It's the subscribe button here on YouTube. Make sure you click it. Get us to our next milestone of 12,000 subscribers. And if you missed any of our videos from earlier in the week, I've got our Friday video for you right here, our Sunday video for you right here. Till next time, go Blue.